6:30, Friday, June 12th. Welcome into this week's safety focus of the week. This week's code of conduct is to maintain respectful behavior when one is working, driving a company vehicle or wearing a company logo. You're always representing the company. It's very important that we watch what we wear. We definitely watch what we say out there in the public and to your peers. There's been a lot of new topics on the news. I'm sure everybody is aware of through this pandemic that we're also dealing with. So it's a lot to consider and think about. So try to think about what you're going to say and think about your actions out there because they become your reality. So it's very important that we follow this code of conduct. It's a very important item that we do each and every day, and we have to make a lot of decisions each and every day. So this week I really wanted to emphasize some new launching and improvements that we've made to the safety program, and definitely our safety communication systems is a very important item for our safety program, and that's our incident response program. It's definitely a big emphasis to myself in Alberta this year, is to really making sure that we are capturing any incidents out there, because an incident is an unfortunate incident that happens unexpectedly and unintentionally. So again, we're trying to do everything we can not to have incidents, but again, we're human. We're going to make some bad decision or a poor choice, and an unforeseen issue might arise at the same time, and it's that perfect storm of when something happens. So we want to capture that incident. If it's a personal injury, a vehicle collision, a utility damage, other personal or property damage, it's very important that first, before you report it, is we make sure that it is stabilized and everybody is safe to do so. So definitely first, figure out and do that quickly, assess the situation, make sure it's safe and everybody's okay first. Take care of everybody that's on the ground first, but then get that call, get that chain of command going, call your direct supervisor to kind of get the incident response going, so then we can talk about the next couple of steps. So it's very important that we report, and the reasons why is because even if it's a near miss or if an actual incident does happen, it's a way that we establish and continually follow safe practices within the workplace. It's critical for us to be able to double check and also know that our current best safe practices are the best available in training and education out there in the field. This information provides an opportunity to make improvement safer. So we can really learn from our mistakes if we stop, think, and act on those. If we just bury our head in the sand and say, we got lucky there, let's not do anything about it, we're more likely going to have the same type of situation pop up again, and this time we might not be so lucky. Another reason is it provides valuable information to avoid and prevent future accidents and injuries. So it's a good little picture that we have here in the left column that says kind of a near miss today could be an accident tomorrow. So report it. You know, if you see an unsafe condition or an unsafe act, we should address those. We should talk about them, and we should educate ourselves and make improvements. If we're always striving for improvement, you know, we'll have better outcomes at the end of the day. And that's our goal, is that everybody goes home safe and sound each and every day. I wanted to share this topic with everybody because I also want to go through our new incident response program update. We have our digital incident response form is now available on Teams. It's been tested and it has worked out very well this week. I have a couple of small near misses that we had happen this week. So for all the foremans out there with tablets, I'm going to show you where you need to go. It's in the same location as before on your foreman's and supervisorial channel. You hit general, go to files, and these are all the forms that we're working on. You have all of our COVID related documents in there, as well as a JHA, your confined space that we talked about last week. We have a traffic control one in there as well that we'll maybe talk about next week. And then here's our utility strikes and our incident reporting for all other types of incidents other than utility strikes. It's kind of utility strikes is kind of a robust form that really bogs down the incident report. So we kind of broke those up into two different forms. So again, if you click on the PDF of the incident reporting form, you would then open up the incident form just by clicking it on your finger. If you're on a desktop version, you need to hit Control first. And then you can see that it's opening it up in a Google document here on Google Chrome. And then here's our form. So it's really strict. We got a simple little drop down date and time. It sets it for you as you're going in. And then you would pick what type of incident that occurred: vehicle, equipment, personal, property. We're going to just say it's a personal injury for this one. So again, employee's name, your name, or who's, who happened. I'll say that I was the one that had a personal injury. There's just a little job title, quick, you could just throw. That one's not quite important. The ones that are important, we've kind of highlighted with this field is required. So what body part was involved? We're going to say that I'm having some back issues. Was medical assistance needed? Did we need to go to Champlain Medical? If so, you'd hit yes, and you can type it in there. If no, there is no drop bar, and it goes right into this question here that says, was the employee able to return to work? Yes. Or was it on-site first aid? If it was on-site first aid, what kind of first aid was needed? We're going to say on-site first needed. We're going to just say some rest and altering job duties, just kind of taking it easy for the rest of the day, and I was able to return to work. And then you're going to proceed to the next part. Did it happen on our job, or if it could have been at home? Those types of situations do come up, and we can easily get those reported as well through this platform. Location, town, I'm going to say Williston. We happened at in the yard at 98 Engineers Drive, Vermont. Incident, it happened yesterday afternoon, we can say. Let's see, yesterday around 4. Let's set it that way. Yesterday's weather was sunny in the afternoon, so we're good there. I could just say that this is really important part is the description of the incident. It's just kind of the what happened is all we're looking for is the what here. So it's picking up a drainage pipe and felt pain in my back. Pain in my back. It was a single pick, or working alone. I was working alone. I could say I was working alone. So that's good information, so we can follow up regarding kind of the incident, because that's what the idea is. You just get the initial kind of incident out there reported. Again, we are still taking phone calls, of course, but sometimes we might be in a meeting, we might not be able to reach us right away. Again, any severe incident with someone maybe leaving in an ambulance, those are kind of more urgent, but some of these kind of, I'm just reporting you, letting you know type of incidents, this document would be great. And then did anyone else see it? If so, we would like to have that so we can follow up with any witnesses, so we can kind of capture and get a good idea of what happened in the incidents. Say this one was no. And then it was proceed to checkout. So it kind of kicks us out a really nice summary here of what happened, date, time, and all that stuff. And this is really all I see when you do send it in. It gives me just a big, okay, we had an incident on this site. It's kind of the who, what, where, when, and how, why, and then Alberta and myself will then further investigate and come up with causal factors and a corrective action plan, so we can learn from our mistakes and improve each and every day, because it's an opportunity for us to improve. So we want to take advantage of those opportunities. So it's pretty much pretty basic. After that, you just fill it out, sign it, and submit it. So with that said, any questions, feel free to reach out. Oh, Bill McSweeney said, can you attach a picture? I believe that is something that Carter was going to work on this week, but he's out in the field. That would be an addition that we'll have, is attaching photos. And you can on the tablet, not on the desktop version. So if you are on the tablet version, there is an opportunity to attach photos with single vehicle and utilities, as well as personal injuries. So that is available, Bill. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, with that said, I'm going to pass it over to Ken for the next part of our safety meeting presentation.
Show my screen. Okay, I think I'm connected. I'm showing my screen and changing to here. Okay, do you see the email of the week on the screen?
I do, Ken. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right, so for announcements this week, we have that we have another new employee, Nathan Luigi, and we'll get a photo of him below. The other announcement we have that's not posted here is that you should look in your paycheck this week. We've made cost of living increases throughout the company, with the exception, of course, of the new employees. So Nathan, don't look for a raise already. There's Nathan. So if you see him or he's on your crew, certainly introduce yourself, make him feel welcome, and help him out to understand the way we do things at ECI. And we're still showing the COVID policies and information. There hasn't been anything that has affected us directly in any meaningful way. So we're continuing with these same policies. And if you need to reference them, all you do is click them. So for the project this week, we are looking at the VTrans Montpelier Wacker 7. And that's the VTrans contract designation for the railroad bridge rehab project in Montpelier. We're contracted with VTrans to replace bridge stringers, repair floor beams, repair knee braces, and relocating the timber stringer pedestal for this is bridge number 304 on the Washington County Railroad. That's right downtown Montpelier, and just off of Main Street. VTrans still has more work to do on the bridge, and I'll be bidding additional work later this year. 151-foot long pin-connected through truss spanning over the north branch of the Winooski River was constructed way back in 1909. And the pin-connected truss is identified by I-bar bottom cord members and diagonals connected by large diameter steel pins. It's quite an unusual bridge, particularly on the railroad, and I'll point out some of the features in the photos below. So ECI's work started earlier this year, and we recently completed it at just 4 days beyond the original contract completion date, despite a whole month delay due to the COVID-19. So we've done very well getting things done and getting back on track on the railroad tracks. So this is a depiction of the plan, of the framing plan, I should say, of the bridge on this first image. And the stringers are the longitudinal sections. There are 4 of them. They are supported at the floor beams within the truss. So I'll show you in a moment here, but this is actually from a report done on the bridge last year, I believe, by a consultant, and they show fairly clearly with a light background that you could see through the web, the bottom of the web of the stringers. So pretty serious loss section there. And this is a knee brace at the corner. That's the floor beam is attaches to the truss, and the knee brace is a way to transfer shear forces to the, or I should say, from the railroad tracks through the floor beam and up into the truss. And obviously those are severely compromised and are effectively providing no structural value. You can see down below the floor beam, there's a cope bottom there with of the beam itself to allow for the hinge pin in the truss and the eye bars that I mentioned above. So here we are, looks like we're taking out some of the stringers. That's the floor beam running right to left roughly, and then up and down the image are the stringers. There's 4 under the tracks. This looks like they're pulling off the final 2 on one of the bays. And then there's some repairs I mentioned to the floor beams. This is a floor beam, and the floor beams also have some section locks in the webs and also needed some reinforcing to where the new stringers attach. So there's a pair of stringers, one at each of those galvanized plates, and you can see we're field mag drilling for the bolt holes and the bolts on the plate to the web of the floor beam. There we are, putting a track panel back in after completion of the installation and of the stringers and the other work underneath there. And here's some of the completed work. Just the other day, we're just picking up, and the knee braces are installed. New bolts, galvanized bolts. And then this is a side view with some of the new, they're all new stringers there with, I think there's yeah, they're all new stringers there. You can see, I don't know if my mouse appears. Does my mouse appear?
It does, Ken.
Oh, okay, good. So there's the eye bolts, or eye bars, I should say, and they also serve as a diagonal. So remember, on a truss, especially a simple supported truss where you're supporting at just both ends, the top is under compression, top cord, and the bottom is under tension. So as a tension cord down here, you can have almost a chain, because it is really a chain. If you look at it, it's like a chain. And then the floor beams are here. They span over to the other hanging member. So the load starts from the track, goes into the stringers, the longitudinal ones, and they're distributed to each end of the stringer to the floor beam. And the floor beam comes down to this member here, the hanging vertical member. And then there's a pin here that provides the attachment to the bottom cord and the diagonals. So it's a very unusual design. There's only a couple railroad bridges I know of in Vermont that are like that. And there's the crew. They look like a bunch of bandits there on the railroad, ready to jump on the train and rob the train like the old days or something with their mask on. And then from the photo archives, back up here a little bit. This is the Pittsford Bridge 215. So the one we did a few years ago was 219. This is an even older one at 215. It's a through girder bridge in Pittsford, obviously back in January 2010. You can tell it's cold out there. And they're doing they have the Skidmore, which is a bolt calibrating device that gives you an idea what the tension of the bolt is, and you use it to calibrate with the torque on the wrench you're using. So that's what I got, Matt. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Ken. And we really appreciate the increase. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you supporting us as well. It's going to be a beautiful day, so let's stay safe out there. And just a quick update, the tablet version and the phone versions both be able to attach photos and take photos right from the form. I responded to that in the chat, so if you see that. But again, any other questions, reach out. We're happy to help. Thank you very much. Have a good day.